Guys, here we go. Last week of new learning, and it is my favorite unit. It's photojournalism, and it's my favorite because it's about telling a story. It's telling your story. So this week we are going to do something new. We're going to create a body of work. It's not going to be single images. Rather, it's going to be images that are connected that tell the story of you during quarantine. Let's first learn what photojournalism is so we know how to do it well. I'm so excited. I know you're going to do great this week. Photojournalism is making photographic stories out of events and their impact on people. Think about what impact means. It means that once you've seen, heard, listened to, or watched something, it's changed you. It's created some sort of mark on you. You don't look at things the same. The people who create these photographic stories are called photojournalists. Now, think before the internet. Think before a camera in a cell phone, before everyone had access to that. Photojournalists were out taking pictures with film and a camera, the way you did in Photo One, and then they'd have to develop the film, make the test prints and the prints, and then hope that they came out so that they could give them to somebody to publish and share them with the public to enlighten them on how a situation really was using visual images. Today, anybody can be a photojournalist. You, in fact, are going to be a photojournalist this week. The goal of the photojournalist is to not stage an image, not set it up the way we do with an artistic photo. Take things as they are. A photojournalist communicates the truth so that, like I said, they show things as they are. They don't edit it in Photoshop or add elements that aren't there. And then the other thing that is so important is photojournalists are living historians. A good photojournalist documents history as it occurs. P.R.I.D.E was an excellent Civil War photographer. He captured the emotion and the mood and the tone of the time. In 1897, Jacob Riis sought out to show how the other half lived in the tenement apartments in New York City and to show the slum-like conditions and how overcrowded they were because he really wanted to shed light on this condition and change it, and he did. Feeling is one of my favorite photojournalists of all times. This photograph, Migrant Mother, I'm sure you've seen it before, but do you know the background of it? 1936, she was in a migrant worker camp documenting the conditions. And this woman, she saw her out of the corner of her eye and she noticed her holding her children and she approached her and she took 5 photographs. She never asked the woman's permission, but it was almost like a silent verbal agreement because she knew that by Dorothea photographing her, it would change her conditions. See, she had been living off of frozen vegetables and dead birds that her children killed for food. She just sold the tires off of her car to buy more food. And Dorothea took this picture. She knew she had something incredible. She sent it to an editor in San Francisco who published it in a paper, and the government then sent 20,000 pounds of food for the workers at the camp. Photography can change the world. Some other incredible photojournalists include Gordon Parks. He photographed the civil rights movement. He had a way of photographing things from angles and used framing so that you would draw your attention to the subject and look at the emotion on their face so you can experience what they were dealing with and going through. Arnold was a powerful photojournalist. She had no problem drawing direct attention to the conversation during the civil rights movement that made some people uncomfortable, but she documented it as it was. Photojournalists are not afraid to put themselves in the front line so that they can tell you the story the way it is. So that brings us to today, photojournalism now, during the time of the coronavirus in 2020. Every day, photojournalists suit up and they seek to capture the essence of how the condition is today, what's happening around us. The mask is common, talking through windows is normal, and getting your temperature taken to find out if you might be infected is not uncommon at all. Journalists seek to document the people who put themselves on the front line to keep us safe. For this final project, we're making a photo essay, which are images taken in a series to tell our story. We're going to look at this photojournal essay by a New York photojournalist who spent time with a family in Brooklyn documenting their quarantine. It's a realistic picture of the emotions that go in the day-to-day, the frustrations of having to talk from a distance, sometimes feeling exhausted, not wanting to get out of bed, checking the everyday, getting frustrated because you can't have your way, washing your hands for the 15th time in 5 minutes, or looking at a window wanting to go outside to play, picking up your stuff from school after not being able to go back, snuggling and stealing tender moments, because those do happen too, and we can't forget that because those are precious. Seeing new life being brought into the world because life does continue. The reality of the masks they wear every day as they leave. Getting sad because you can't see your classmates in Zoom meetings, and relaxing or resting after an exhausting day. So like I have with all the other projects, I made my own photojournalism story of my quarantine. You can look at this on your own, it's attached, and I want you to know what elements that I think about when I'm taking pictures to tell a story. So let's study these up close. The first one is candid images. So candid images are taken, and the subject, if it's a person, doesn't know you're taking the photograph. See, it reveals a truth and a real sense of what was happening. In this picture, we were watching my brother's Facebook Live streaming, playing his guitar. And if you look at my mom, she's looking at him with such pride, and she's so happy to see her son because she hasn't seen him. Mr. Worgan is hard at work creating a virtual award ceremony for the honors night that's now been canceled. He's just very serious and just trying to do the best he can for our seniors so that they have a good experience. Besides candid images of people, the angle of view is really important, especially if you don't have people in the shot. In this one on the left, MJ was working on an art project, and I remember as he was laying the art supplies all over the newspapers with all the quarantine, coronavirus, new statistics, I just found it ironic, and so I wanted to capture that, so I did it from above. The picture on the right is what's on my counter when you walk in. There's hand sanitizer, a place to drop your mask so we can wash it, and Clorox wipes, because you can't bring anything in without getting sanitized or wiping down the bag or whatever it is that you brought in, because let's not continue to spread the germs. Take this opportunity to tell the story of your quarantine during this historical time. And 20 years from now, when you are trying to explain what it was like when you were taken out of school because of the coronavirus, I want you to have really great images to explain the time, the place, the people you were with, the emotions you were feeling, and any frustrations or joys that you found.